Hermes, we're doing a YouTube video. If you want to be a YouTuber nobody cares about Herbert? Okay, what are the flavors of that, Hermes? No, you have to be known as strange links in history as well. Take long breaks and then when they're ladies, they check back. He just said, score! That's how Hermes is a bunny boy. You're a bunny boy. You keep demanding bunnies and bunny things. You're a bunny boy. Doesn't my mom know you're a religious side and that's why you look so cool? No, I really do stim on you. I just have to have physical stims. People should make cubes like this to emulate me. It doesn't have to be for religion. We could just give them out. Because it feels so good to have pop-up things when you stim as to why you're awkward. Like my friend has a disorder called nominats where they see my face off. Everyone's really considered hearing that. Why? Here's the knowledge you see. I'm not going to develop with them. I do have it. I just have a very different way. You can choose what version you have, and I'm just not like that kind of tragically beautiful. But I am tragically beautiful. What is tragically beautiful? Hi, my name is Adam Snowflake. I am tragically beautiful. Even though I don't consider myself tragic usually, but I see myself in pain, and even though I'm not usually seen as beautiful by myself, in ways they all would consider themselves to be, because I have type 2 and most people have type 1 or type 3. Tragically beautiful or trageus, but they can be called tragically beautiful, it's a more so a movement, are people who are so fucked up or messed up and sick that they, in general, um, can't help but see themselves as their pain in weird and unique ways. Um, it's really in general like a thing they have to go through, a thing that makes us sad, a thing that makes us sick. We have been tormented over and over again till the point where we have a negative, weird stereotype about sadness. We could just let loose and not hide it. Feels great. And that's a stereotype. A stereotype means this is so absurdly male that even if it's stereotypes of women, only men usually do it, as to why it looks so hot and beautiful on a girl. Those are called stereolifts, and you're like, well, I'm all stereolifts and I'm a transgender woman. You're a man if you say you're stereo anything. Stereo is inherently an FTM transgender male identity. You're saying you're not really a girl, you're a cross dresser, and you're a boy who's proud of that as a woman. That's actually what transgender woman means. If you mean like, well, I was born and I want, you know, and I'm a maroon and I like cats and I'm like crazy and I'm like a weird eccentric girl, but I had to work for it, or I was born wrong, or it was just given to me and it was perfect that it was. That's a demigirl. It's cool you're a demigirl. If you really do identify as trans, the name, and it's not just transgender or gay identity, you're probably a boy. Because it does mean you're a boy, even if girl means too much to you right now. The thing with the Anderson family is they always have someone named Kay Anderson who's a different gender with the name Kurt. I was Kurt Anderson. It's a name that's passed down and they all end up girls that aren't me. It's a really big problem for only me and Lou with our family there. It's cool I have a million girls with different K names who are named Kurt Anderson. Um, there's a good reason my name is an insult to her. She is a woman in every single way. She was just born with the wrong something that makes her a guy, or the wrong choice was given to her, and she's not allowed to change, or she has to change in a certain way in and out of it. That means she's a demigirl. That's that gender identity. You're like, but trans woman means a lot to me. You're secretly wanting to cross dress as a boy. That's why it's a transgender woman. That means eventually when you feel better, it will usually turn into that. If you're like, I just need that as a real woman though, I'm so attached to the term. One day it'll be good that you'll prefer the term demigirl. Gender and gender identity is an expression that keeps changing over and over again for most people. And the thing with people who are tragically beautiful is they're all men. They can look beautiful. They can look like July, the American Girl doll, but this is the male version of that doll. I just didn't change the haircut. I was like, I'm not gonna change July's hair as July. I'm a boy as July. I just live in a culture where they use the word he for she for men. Like any culture can have any word mean anything. She means we treat this with power, and he means we treat this as owning that. So in some cultures, boys have to go by she and woman, and in some cultures, girls have to go by male and he things. It'll just be like frilly if they do, like France. Some people just switch the words. They're twins, some people want two, which is girl, some people want one, which is a boy. And sometimes you're doing this a lot in weird ways we don't know what to say, so we just say girl, boy, girl. And that's how you tell the difference of gender. You could just change the words to mean each other. You just have to have a sob story, even if you make one up for someone like that, that allows that. And that does that. You know, it's fine. It's like atheist is only ever male. Like there's hot blooded women atheists like Jacqueline Glenn. The thing is, they're doing a boy's job in a way that stresses them out because of the history of jackal rabbits, the history of pain, the history of having to look hot, the history of having to be that one girl with all the boys, the history of being the good one. Like, she has my name, Jacqueline. I go by that as a boy. It's a boy's only name. You're like saying, well, this is Thomas the woman, and he has to be perfect because we have a girl who's named that now, named Thomason. And it's like, cool, I'm happy it works that way. Sam is genders. Okay, is Sam girl or is it girl Sam or is it boy Sam? It's like he can just mean she. And the thing about being tragically beautiful is something happened at one point with your gender. Famous books about tragically beautiful people are Psycho when it's revealed he was just crazy the whole time and didn't do anything in the book, and that all adaptations can say that however they want, but a culture means this is the setting I grew up in. We all say these things to each other and we know how that means and how we feel about it. Science is religion for a culture. People just want to have pieces of other stuff. So they worship things that we can explain as ways we can't, even if it was a one off instance of someone having to renuke the world. It's called a creation myth. It's cool the earth once died, or we retconned it with science, or we fixed it, or it was one town or something, as why those seem logical. And they say, well, those people who did it had to have made the world because they did because they're God. It's cool the world does end a lot and it doesn't feel like anything to us because we get to keep going because of science. It's called timelines and time travel and time theory, and we have proof they real like magic. You say magic to those people who want that science, you look like a loony bin. Or how to say you want this, a Stalin? You just have to say crazy and scared and something, right? Are you sure your kid wants that? Yes. Like loony bin. I can't do it. It's okay. Just try. Like loony bin. Like I used to make that joke to Crazy Max, but he's imagining a very specific insult from my alter Abadril. I have multiple personalities because I'm hurt. When you're hurt so hard, you see yourself different. You just do. And that's what Tragically Beautiful is as a movement. It's saying I could be an Abercrombie model. I could be beautiful. I could be a size 107 as to why I lost something tragically. It can even be that weight. As to why I was perfect, as to why I saw it wrong. And I'm just gorgeous and fucked up, and you need to understand that even if I'm ugly in every way imaginable or hate myself as what you think ugliness is, beauty is all that matters to me. Or what I can never have as to why it's good to take pride in it or go crazy with being able to on occasions to prove how much I hate myself. I am depressed. I am sad. I have Delilahs. I have lilacs. I have Adam's song. These are real disorders with weird names. It's a thing all across the world, even here. I have something discovered in a different time period, or I'm just different. I just have to be unique. And that's why I'm a boy. And if you're like, I'm not but a weird girl, you're autistic. Or you have Asperger's syndrome. Asperger's isn't actually autism, it's on the autism spectrum. Autism is I don't get your culture, everything's culture to me. Or I was raped once, so I developed a disorder where I can't talk to people and know what they mean right. And so I get things wrong because I'm just so young and they feel like the normal age, and I feel like I'm too young for them. And even if that's a metaphor for those weird things or your religion or your beliefs, I don't care. That's just how I see the world as to why I would not even matter there or anywhere or matter everywhere here. Asperger's is usually for women, but not always as like that, but I'm just a weird girl. Autism is, and this is cripplingly painful. Women don't like autism speaks in general. They think of it as hurting them. People who help autism speaks and work for it don't like it. Tumblr is usually like this because of politicalism called liberalism. Atheism or extreme right wing stuff, or atheism or meme culture. If you're not in those specific groups, Autism Speaks is one of the most benevolent and kind charities. I helped create it. I don't talk about it. I did it at Mill Springs Academy with the real founder, JC Howard. And I don't talk about why I say that as a coping mechanism. When you need to cope with things, when you need to be weird, if you take on your blanket like me, and you're like just a big kid, I have a youth disorder. That means I don't age. What is age? Age is when people are different things as they grow up or mature and become like normal in different ways or adjust. A youth disorder is a real thing I am diagnosed with. And so are eating disorders where you just can't eat food because it's like you have to eat this. Everyone eats this. I'm sorry, I eat these things. That's unhealthy all the time. I'm sorry, that's all I can eat. I am dangerously thin, and you keep saying that's overweight because you have this, which is mean, and you see my body wrong. I'm sorry, the world isn't what you or the town has. And you made me starve for it. That's hurting me. You're bad. That's the sads. Autism is the sads. Eating disorders are the sads. I have that. Problem. A youth disorder is the SADS. It means I agreed to help people with science or something to study, or I wanted to do videos a certain way or help people with this. So much so, I got stuck young, pretending to be older, or I was age grown, or they bullied me about my weight and age so hard I stopped aging. And I don't ever have to go through that again. But I might have to do weird religious things to feel better called OCD rituals that will resulting in that for me or actually making chaos factor for me, which is how magic works as science. We can explain it. We had a breakthrough in science, boys. It's like a big problem. You don't agree with that and you don't get me. I'm speaking a certain dialect where I sound like this in common. Yes, I am Mark Zuckerberg. It's me on testosterone. Yeah, I am that bitch. I just don't always have the long black hair. I can't usually do my hands when I'm there. It's how that culture affects me. Because culture is what you like, what you don't like, and the rules, like your atheism, like your religion, like your gender, like your height, like what makes you a woman, like that marriage, like that boyfriend I'm gonna get. Like, no, what's wrong with that? Like, why I can't do a kid, why I have a disorder, why I am slipping moods, which is MPD or bipolar. What's wrong with me? Why we just don't work, why he's a burden, why it could never be all of that is your culture or your personal mind because minds are cultures where everybody agrees or shares with it as like the standard, which means just the default, like what most people do. And it's all like that bullshit. Or it's an illness. And it's an illness, it's because it's also a mind that I described, which is who you are and your problems and what you feel as your heart and your mind that makes you you, or a soul that makes you you, or it's your culture, which means everybody here does those things. It's the things we wear, and like from that history, like the things we like. And these are my culture. They're not my family's culture, so they think I'm crazy for saying these things exist. In some cultures, this is called the Lord, and I have it, so I'm the Lord, and they don't believe that. And they call me crazy, like, but that's this for us. In my culture, they hate me if they have a crystal Jewish star, and they do, and they don't listen to me, and they don't care that I do that. My mom told me she had problems and to post something. I posted it. She forgot about it because she has dementia. She told me to say this if it ever comes to her health in case she gets a husband because it's a ducky voice thing. And I was like, okay. I told her that. I called her the Susan Cohen files. She told me to do it. It's at the opening she did. She blacked out, forgot, and punished me. Punishing is we're going to hurt you for things only we have in this culture. And I don't care if it makes you sick like what I just described as a mind. My family sucks ass. Um, that's called an insult. It means I'm degrading and humiliating you, like making you go woof woof, which is sometimes why it sounds like I say it. Because you love me too much or you don't love me enough, and I don't think they do right now, but I'm just venting. Um, so it's just like yellings can really hurt like that, and she doesn't care that she yells. I get that she needs to get it out. She shouldn't at me. Um, so yeah. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool in general. This video does change timeline to timeline, even though my YouTube videos almost never do. It's really weird as a result. Astral planes exist, stuff gets, we don't always know how to get there. Cantowns are where you go in a coma. That's basically VR. We have proof the Matrix is real. We have declassified it as the government. It's called a can town. It's on the news right now. When I film this, you could just look up can towns, and if news organizations are good, they'll try to tape it and post it. You can just do that if you mess with a spiritual camera, if you need a copy. Or you could just record the news on a VCR, burn it, then re-upload it. It's a lot of work for news to tape the news and post it, but they have to if they're the news. So yeah, I really gotta go. There's nothing wrong with my family. They're good people. They just asked me to remind them and forget because they have known me not. It's a real disorder. They know because it's ducky ducky go things or something. I don't know. My mom's crazy. It meant a lot to me. I just don't remember what that is as voice. It's the voice. I don't know what she was on. Anyways, I gotta go. Please enjoy the fact that not everyone has the same culture and that you can be tragic and it can be worth everything called beautiful.